Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. I'm the Book Geek, also known as Kiava, and this is my horror/fall TBR. So this TBR will be a little different, and it's going to cover the months of October and November because I'm going to be doing something different in December. But I thought it would be fun for the month of October to do a horror themed TBR wheel, which I haven't put the horror prompts up. So next slide. Now the horror prompts are up on the wheel. And that's not all. I have a bag here full of more horror prompts to add once they start to get taken down. So very quickly, like I did with my regular TBR wheel, I'm just going to quickly go through the horror prompts for the horror TBR wheel. Okay, we have horror western, home invasion, stalking, wilderness, but not wilderness that takes place in the woods. This is like survival horror, wilderness horror. Evil child / creepy kids. Fantasy horror. Retellings and reimaginings. Body horror. Folk tales, fables, and fairy tales. Killer / serial killer. Witch or witches. Latinx Hispanic horror. Winter. Psychological. Clowns. Neurodivergent. Creepy evil mom. Cannibals. Phobias such as claustrophobia, arachnophobia, etc. Cabin, like cabins in the woods, cabins on the cover. Horror poetry. Creature feature. This one will exclude creatures such as vampires, werewolves. Those have their own prompt for the wheel. Summer camp. Indigenous horror. Haunted house, ghosts, possession, paranormal, supernatural, demonic. Those are all on one prompt. Extreme horror. Sci-fi, space, aliens. Werewolves. Zombies. Coming of age. Young adult, erotic / sexy horror. Revenge. Mixed media, found footage, tech, digital, anything in the technology subgenre horror. Middle grade horror. Black horror. Queer. Holiday horror. And of course the prompts we already have here on the wheel, which are horror cover by. Short stories, anthologies, novellas. Isolation. Missing people, kidnapping, abduction. Cult. Body horror. Dracula retellings and reimaginings. Oceanic, deep water, sea. So any type of horror that takes place on the water or is water related or has water as a main theme. Gothic, apocalypse, and post-apocalyptic. Indie horror, summer horror, not camp. I have a separate prompt for summer camp. This one is just about horror books that are taking place during the summer, not necessarily at a summer camp. Cosmic, vampires, slashers, splatterpunk, and in the woods. I will be spinning the wheel 6 times for the month of October for all my spooky reads. Let's get into the spins. Here we go. First spin. And we have holiday horror. Let's add another prompt to the wheel, and we have indie. Second spin. And we have black horror. Let's add another prompt to the wheel. Middle grade horror. Third spin. Alright, this one landed dead center in the middle between revenge horror and mixed media, found footage, tech, and digital. But it didn't quite go past the little knob here. So, I mean, it's right in the middle. I've never seen it land like that. It's like directly in the middle of the knob. Right down the middle. How do we decide? Should I just pick both? I'm going to go with mixed media because it didn't quite cross over into revenge. Like it's right in the middle of this little knob thingy, but it didn't go over it. So we're going to say it's mixed media, found footage, tech, and digital horror. If you hear giggling and noise in the background, don't mind that. Those are my children. Let's add another prompt to the wheel. We have slashers, splatterpunk. Fourth spin. And we have queer. Let's add another prompt to the wheel. We're going to add in the woods. Fifth spin. And it looks like we have revenge horror. Let's add our last prompt to the wheel for our final spin. We have vampires, my favorite. This is our sixth and final spin. And for our final prompt selection from the horror TBR wheel, we have middle grade. All right, so first I'm going to show you all my horror book selections, and then I'm going to come back and do the second half of this video, which will just be my regular fall TBR for the month of November using my regular TBR wheel prompts. Okay, and now I am back to show you all my horror book selections. For black horror, I decided to go with Ring Shout by P. Djeli Clark. The only thing I know about this book is that people are hunting, I believe, the demons that the KKK have created, or the KKK are actually demons. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not really going through and looking up all these synopses. This one is categorized as also a thriller, but it was under the horror section as well, so I'm going to read it as a horror. For the mixed media, found footage, technology, digital prompt, I have several selections here, and I don't know which one to pick. It all depends which book they have at my local library, because I'm going to go to the library to get a lot of these books. Most of the ones here that I'm interested in reading are new releases. The first option is a book titled Bad Movie Night. It is about a YouTuber who learns about a cursed film and then he watches it for his channel. And then the other one is titled Schrader's Chord, which I love the cover of this book. This one is about cursed vinyl records. We also have The Invisible World. I also mentioned this one on my video that I posted recently about new horror books that were going to be released this fall. The Invisible World was on that list. It is a book that I am interested in. And this one is about a paranormal TV investigative crew. And then the last option is titled When Ghosts Call Us Home. And this one is said to be Haunting of Hill House meets found footage horror. So I don't know which one I'm going to go with. I'm going to see what they have in my local library and go from there. I'll probably insert something somewhere. So for middle grade horror, I decided to go with a book titled Hide and Seeker. So this one is about a game that people are getting sucked into, children are getting sucked into, and it's a world of nightmares come to life. It kind of reminds me of like a horror version of Jumanji. So I guess these people that have gotten sucked into the game or are playing the game, they have to hide from the seeker in order to survive, I assume. For queer horror, I decided to go with another newly released book, and it is titled Your Lonely Nights Are Over. It is said to be Scream meets Clueless. It is about two teens who happen to be gay, they're best friends, and someone is targeting their queer club. For revenge, I have The Only Good Indians. This book is about 4 American Indian men that are going to be tracked by an entity that is bent on revenge. It has something to do with something these men did in their youth. And for holiday horror, I decided to go with Krampus the Yule Lord. And I just know that this has something to do with Santa, and I think Santa is being hunted by these devilish creatures or by Krampus himself. I don't know. I'm not reading the whole synopsis, but I'm going with this one. So those are my horror TBR picks from the Will. I'm also reading several other horror books. There are too many horror books that I want to read and not enough days or time in the month of October for me to get to all of them. Even though I'm someone who reads horror throughout the year, I am still reading some horror books that have, you know, rolled over into the month of October. I'm still reading a lot of other horror books, and these are not even all the ones that I want to try and get to. And realistically, I know I cannot read all these books, but damn it, I'm going to die trying. Now, we're going to get into my regular TBR will prompts to finish up the second half of this fall TBR. I've already added the normal will prompts back to the will. I'm going to be spinning the wheel 6 times to see what I'm going to be reading that's fall related, that's not necessarily horror. There'll probably still be some horror in here. Let's be honest. I love me some horror. So let's just see what we get. And here we go. First spin. And we have standalone. Let's replace standalone with fantasy. Second spin. And I think this is the first time this prompt has been selected. It is one of my fairly new ones, and that is brother pick. Let's replace brother pick with, wouldn't you know it, niece pick. Third spin. And for our third spin, we have animal on cover. Let's replace animal on cover with children's book. Fourth spin. We have A through Z random generator. Let's replace random generator with new release. Fifth spin. It's landed on banned book, another one of my newer prompts. Let's replace banned book with, dig around in here a little bit, see what we can come up with. Sequel. And this will be our final spin. All right, guys, well, the camera cut off before the wheel finished spinning for that last spin, but it landed on verb in the title. I'm gonna run through these very quickly. I'm doing laundry also, so if you hear the washing machine, sorry about that. I live here. For banned book, I'm going to go with the novel Speak. This is the graphic novel version. I do have the novel in there somewhere. I just have to find it, y'all. I was looking for that thing. I don't know where the hell I'll put the book. It's in there though. So I'm going to start with the graphic novel. If there's time, I'll jump into the novel as well and read both. But this is a banned book. For A through Z random generator, I have a wheel to spin, and whatever letter it lands on, I'm going to read a book that starts with that letter or read from an author whose name begins with that letter. So let's spin the wheel. And we have the letter A. So for the letter A, I've chosen An Anonymous Girl. I have no idea what this book is about. I picked this up so long ago. I'm not going to read the synopsis here. Like I said, I'll look into it later. But this is the one we're going with. I think I'm going to listen to this one on audio, actually. For animal on cover, I'm going with In the House in the Dark of the Woods. There is a picture of a wolf on this cover. For brother pick, I chose 3 books sent it to my brother and asked him to pick one of those books for me to read. So the choices were The Breakdown by B.A. Paris, The Lesser Dead, and The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. And he chose The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James, which I'm very, very excited about. This will be my first Simone St. James book. I can't wait to dive into it. For standalone, I'm going with The Shadows by Alex North, and I believe this is a horror story. And for verb in the title, I decided to go with choke. All right, so of the books that I'm going to be reading, here are the physical copies that I own. A lot of these are going to come from the library or be read on Kindle or through audio via Scribd or some other service that I use. Let me know what spooky books you're going to be reading this month. And let me know if you have any other ideas for any other horror prompts I should put up on my horror wheel. Have you read any of the books that I've chosen today? Let me know down below. Let me know what you thought of them without spoiling the book, of course. I would love to hear your opinions. I'm going to end this video here. The washing machine is about to spin really, really loud. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.